here's Brody Brazil.
Feel free to hit me up anytime you like on the voicemail line. The number is 8334-BRODY. I literally listen to every single call, and then I get to play back and respond to the very best messages.
Brody, my name is Leo, and I'm calling you from Las Vegas. And a couple of days ago, I think it was, you did a program on the luxury tax, baseball salaries and the luxury tax.
Yep.
And my question is, where does that luxury tax go? Does it go directly to the league, or does it go someplace else? And my thought would be is if the luxury tax went into a pool for the smaller markets to split, to share, that might even things out a little bit. Anyway, I'd love to know where it goes and if what I'm saying is actually the case or if it makes sense. Anyway, thank you very much. I do enjoy your show immensely.
Leo, thank you very much for the call. All that money, by the way, goes straight to the brand new Las Vegas Athletics in your hometown. I'm kidding. But in all reality, things have changed. The luxury tax, known as the competitive balance tax, it just used to go straight to the teams that didn't make as much money or proved that they weren't making as much money or doing as well as the other teams. And so, yes, that pool of money from the top spending teams, until a couple years ago, it just went straight to the, bottom feeders. And yeah, the A's were definitely one of them for more than a few years. Now things have changed just a little bit, and to the point where I think your call is great because it makes a lot of sense for me to explain something here. The luxury tax is more formally known as the competitive balance tax. And again, this is one of the biggest problems in Major League Baseball right now. There's a competitive balance tax on teams like the Dodgers, who are estimated to owe about $141 million this season, not on payroll, on luxury tax, on competitive balance tax. That means the Dodgers in their $350 that they're shelling out for players, they're going to pay $140 on top of that, which is the competitive balance tax. Now, that's the Dodgers tax. What are the other teams taxed? What are the Mets taxed? What are the Padres taxed? What are the Yankees taxed? It all depends on a bunch of different things, and also how many years you've been exceeding that threshold. It's not a hard salary cap, it's a soft cap, but if you exceed it, you have to pay that luxury tax. So teams that exceed calculated amounts, and they're different amounts depending on situations, but calculated amounts, if you exceed it, you have to pay the competitive balance tax, which brings us to the answer of your question. So who gets this money? Like, is it just divided evenly? It's actually different than the way it used to be. Since 2022, so before 22, it was different. Before that last CBA went straight to the teams that weren't making as much, they got to share it all. But since 2022, the first $3.5 million funds player benefits. What does that mean? Healthcare, health services, other things, $3.5 million. Not a lot when you consider it's hundreds of millions, at least. We don't know the exact numbers, by the way. $3.5 million to player benefits. Okay, we'll take that right off the top, no problem. The rest is split 50-50. Now, this is something that the players worked into the last CBA. It's definitely going to be a next conversation of the next CBA, which is set to expire after 26 and is going to need to be reset before the 2027 season. That's why we think there's going to be a lockout. But the remaining 50%, so two 50% pieces of the pie here, 50% of that goes into player retirement accounts, okay? So that's for the benefit of the players. They fought for that. The other 50%, and I laugh when I'm about to say this, goes to the Commissioner's Discretionary Fund. So what the heck does that mean? Rob Manfred's discretionary fund? Is this for like travel, or is this like entertainment for Rob Manfred, or is this like a new laptop he wants to buy? Is this for Apple TV subscriptions? Like what's the discretionary fund? Oh, I've got a slide prepared for that. No problem. The discretionary fund, let me just explain it like this wholesale. The entire aim here of everything that's still going on, I know this sounds different. This sounds a lot more legit, but the entire aim of this discretionary fund is still to aid teams that aren't doing as well and not spending as much. I shouldn't even say doing as well. It's still aimed to aid the teams that aren't spending as much. They're said to, and I don't know the specifics of this because they're not very clear. This language is not available to those of us in the general public or in the media. They're said to reward the growth of teams that increase their ticket sales or their concession sales or their sponsorships. Basically, the old way was, oh, you're not making as much money, you're not spending as much money, here, take $75 million. By the way, teams are now capped at $75 million on that competitive balance tax benefit, right? So the teams that are going to receive this money, those bottom feeders, the most you can accept is $75 million, which, by the way, the Sacramento whatever Athletics this year, about $75 million is what they collected. They had to spend $100 million, more on that in just a second, to get that 75 back. But baseball is said to reward the growth of teams that are trying, right? Or also teams that just went through that media disruption of the regional sports networks like Bally's that went under and then had to renegotiate a brand new contract, and then they changed the name to FanDuel, and baseball teams across the board are getting a lot less money per season for their rights fees. So baseball stepped in and said, hey, we've got this competitive balance tax, like large lump sum of money. So here, did you lose a contract? Here's $15 million. We can't make up the 40 or the 45 that you lost, but here's 15 to help you out. So that's part of it too, where this discretionary fund is going. They're incentivizing payroll spending. And by that, we all heard the story about when the A's signed Luis Severino, they did so to try and get their team payroll up this year and also extending Brent Rooker to about $100 million, because if they weren't to get to $100 million this year, for the first time ever in franchise history, the Players Association was about to file a grievance against the A's. So they are incentivized to spend more so that they can receive their competitive balance tax funding. And again, capped at about $75 million. But the hard part here, how much is every team getting? Which teams are on the list? How many years can you do this? Not all of this is made clear. In fact, the spreadsheet type details, none of that is made clear. None of that is made public. None of it is even documented, really, publicly. So how much exactly are the Dodgers being taxed? How much exactly are teams like the Pirates or the A's or the Rays or the Twins? How much are they taking in kind of for free off of this competitive balance tax? We don't know. We just know it's happening. And although things have changed a little bit, like players are getting more of a piece of that pie, they're getting 50% for their retirement fund. That's great for them. But still, there's 50% going back to teams that, are they spending that money? That money from the discretionary fund. Like, here's another part of the problem. Okay, so the A's got $75 million this year. Let's say that they ended up spending, and with some injuries and players that got traded away, let's say they ended up still spending about $100 million or $90 million on their team payroll. So they got 75 to spend 90. Does that mean that they only spent $15 million on payroll this year? And again, the Dodgers just spent $350? The idea of giving you 75 is like, hey, spend all of this 75 on your players. So what does it mean? And therein lies the problem. So hopefully I answered the question. Hopefully that brings a little bit more insight. I wish I knew all the details. I wish I could explain this better, but that's literally the best I can do. So put your comments down below. Appreciate that. Also, thumbs up while you're there. Helps me, this video, this channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to see you back here next time.